Can you scramble alien eggs? Should fortune tellers be banned from casinos? Answers to these questions and more on this episode of This Paranormal Life! Hello!
Hey!
And welcome back to This Paranormal Life, the weekly comedy podcast where every Tuesday you are joined by me, Kit, this guy Rory, for a different paranormal tale, deciding by the end of that episode whether we personally think, in our expert opinion, it's paranormal or not.
What up?
How you doing, Rory?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here investigating another paranormal tale. Regarding your intro questions, I have been to a casino before.
Yeah, which is one more time than I've been.
You've never been to a casino?
Nope.
Can we please go the first time that you go?
Look, I can't trust myself around a box of celebrations. I shouldn't be allowed in somewhere I can ruin my own life. All right?
What if every celebration was a $25 chip?
Oh, God.
That's not what I need in my life. No, I'm the person that you want to go with because my big baller bets are about 10 pennies
Right.
a spin. That's what I like to do.
You're microdosing being James Bond. You're microdosing the dopamine of gambling.
Yeah. The first time I went to Vegas, I sat down at a blackjack table. Immediately, I didn't realize at the time that some tables have minimums, depending on what table you sat
I think
at.
even I know that, yeah.
So I sat down at a $10 minimum table, which was already way too rich for me. I think that is now the lowest it goes.
Right.
I don't think you can sit down at a lower table now.
We're talking, the guys sitting at that table were wearing t-shirts made by Hurley,
Right, in flip-flops.
Yeah, one of them had a fake Supreme t-shirt. It was like, these guys are high-class members of society.
I was so nervous. I played one game of blackjack, managed to win, so I got $10 back, left the table immediately, and went to spend that money on a Subway sandwich. And then I think I went to bed.
You were shaking. You're physically shaking.
The thrill of the bet. I was just like, and maybe some ham and mayonnaise? That was such a rush. I'm trying to eat the sandwich, but I'm shaking so much. Ingredients are spilling out the sides.
I do think people are clearly built utterly different. I was served a reel just the other day of a guy who I don't know, but he lives, I guess, not that far away from me, so it felt close to home. And he was making a reel about how he placed a sports bet recently and how he almost won £100,000 and just didn't cash out at the right time and then kind of just lost whatever money he bet.
Wow.
And how he was like, I just keep my head up, and I know that wasn't what God's plan was for me, and just live to see another day, and happy enough. Gonna keep betting. And I was like, I am clearly not a gambler. Whatever DNA you need to be a gambler, I would kill myself. I would just end it all.
I wouldn't keep my head up. I'd put my head down on some railroad tracks. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Honestly.
If I had lost that $10, I probably would have left Vegas that night.
Yeah, you'd be just like racking your brain. You're like, do you know how many Subway cookies I could have got for $10?
It would have driven me crazy.
I could have paid off 3 hours interest from my student loans.
I could have afforded the double meat in the Subway sandwich instead of the single meat. And of course, yes, the next morning I did lose $1,300 because I thought the next day that I had a streak going.
Oh, Lord.
I sat down at the table and I said, "Hello, Moneypenny. Bond is back."
Not where Moneypenny works. Not where she works. She works at MI5.
And Moneypenny said 23, bust. And I said, "That wasn't very cool of you, Moneypenny. Don't you actually work for Bond, Moneypenny?"
Hit me, Moneypenny. You're on 20. You're on 20.
You have a
It's
blackjack.
statistically impossible. But yeah, and I've heard like professional poker players, I've heard them on podcasts, they'll be like, yeah, the worst day ever, I lost $500,000 and just,
crazy.
Hard to get to sleep that night.
Anytime we lose a $5 patron, I threaten to shut down the podcast. I'm like, it's over.
Rory goes Shogun mode and offers to me he gets on his knee and offers to commit seppuku in front of me.
Right. Luckily, it's usually I host an episode, we lose a bunch of patrons, Kit hosts one, we get a bunch of patrons. Right. So it kind of balances itself out in the end.
It does. That is the beauty of This Paranormal Life. Hopefully your favorite paranormal podcast in a given week.
We should hit the casino tonight, brother. Nope. I'm feeling lucky.
No. You're getting a glint in your eye. You've gone shark-eyed and I don't like it. Just keep your head in the game, right?
Okay.
He's biting his lip. He's thinking about Subway already.
I'm thinking about sandwiches.
You can get Subway anytime you want. It's so cheap. It's really not a problem. Rory, look.
Give me your phone, actually. I'm going to download some gambling apps.
You've blogged all the apps on your phone?
I am bound.
Look, Rory, let me try and play into your gambling mindset here by saying we do have a winning streak going this year, and it's not blackjack. It was, keyword was, a streak of yeses on This Paranormal Life. If you're new to the show, that means at the end of the show, we decide whether a case is paranormal or not. We had an unprecedented streak of yeses at the start of 2025. Clearly a good omen for this great new year.
That's right. Atlantis. Yes.
Boom.
Mantis Man.
Mantis Man.
Don't forget that one, kid.
I wasn't going to.
Sometimes you leave that one out.
Sometimes I leave it out.
The Yeti.
The Yeti.
Then
we did take a week off.
We took a week off. Yeah, they can't all be bangers, unfortunately.
I've been trying to get that episode removed from the catalog just to kind of continue the streak, but unsuccessfully so far.
I don't want to apologize because things did get a little heated last week. I believe I at one point called Kit a mega shit.
He said, and I quote, "I would like to dissolve you with chemicals if I could," which is really giving like Dexter serial killer vibes. Insane thing to say.
It really was. It felt normal in the moment.
That's a gambler's mind. But,
That's what I yelled at the blackjack dealer at 3 a.m. after losing 1,000 chips.
But what I do want to call attention to is that we've got this far into a new year without covering, really, properly, a UFO case.
Which is crazy because those are the cases that usually we are very keen to say are double yeses.
Yeah.
We have a bias.
Yeah, not only do we love them and love to cover them, but normally they get disproportionate amounts of yeses due to their kind of semi-scientific nature. But no longer are we going to go into 2025 without doing it today. I've got a stonking UFO case for you. And it is a very important UFO case, kind of historically, one we were going to get right into after a couple of words from today's sponsors. And a reminder, every episode of this show is available ad-free at patreon.com/This Paranormal Life. Check the description of this pod wherever you are to get that link.
All the money earned on Patreon this month is going on 31 Black.
Why 31?
I just got a good feeling. Yeah. I just got a good feeling about it. So if you want to be involved in the lottery pool, head on over patreon.com.
It's November 11th, 1979, and in the night sky above the Mediterranean island of Ibiza, Captain Francisco Javier Lerdo de Tejada pilots a jet airliner. With 109 passengers aboard, Francisco is just settling into the second leg of their journey from Salzburg, Austria to Tenerife. Conditions are good, clear, calm skies, and the flight is on schedule. Captain Francisco and co-pilot Jose are totally oblivious to the fact that they are about to become part of Spanish paranormal history.
Whoa.
At around 11 p.m., cruising at a height of 23,000 feet, the pilots realized that two prominent red lights could be seen to the left of the plane. Now, although they were quite far away, they radioed in to Barcelona Flight Control.
Control, Captain Francisco here, flight deck of JK297.
297, go ahead.
Please confirm if we have any traffic to our left. We've got some lights we don't recognize here, approximately 3 miles out.
Negative, no traffic.
Thanks, I'll keep you posted. So weird, are they getting closer?
They were. That's when Francisco started to panic. These lights were on a collision course with this Super Caravel plane. This time they radioed the Torrejón de Ardoz military radar facility in Madrid, but worryingly, they too had no explanation. As the lights got brighter, the pilots had to take action and climbed altitude. But to their horror, the red glow mirrored their movements and climbed too. It was following them.
Uh-oh.
At this stage, the unidentified objects finally appeared on the plane's radar, about 200 meters apart from each other. Now completely freaked out, Captain Francisco felt he had no other option than to make an emergency landing at the nearby Manises airport in Valencia. But as they turned off course and began to drop, the lights continued to follow them. It wasn't until the plane was literally just above the runway that they finally disappeared, much to the crew's relief.
Whew.
Flight JK297 made history that night when it touched down becoming the first ever commercial flight forced to make an emergency landing because of a UFO.
Wow, that's crazy.
The dubious honor. But yeah, it seems true, right? We've covered planes in the past that have seen things. There was like Alaska Airlines. There's like a famous one.
Yeah.
Alaska Airlines. I can't remember the flight number. But they didn't necessarily get grounded to do with it, right?
That's true. We had a military craft once that was allegedly shot down by a UFO.
Woof.
But not a passenger plane.
Yes.
I mean, would you be happy as a captain if when you're coming into land, like right before you land, these things piss off? I'd be like, oh, hell no. You guys are going to make me look crazy now.
Yeah, because
I'm fired.
when I was researching this, yeah, people were saying that. They were like, imagine being a passenger. You know, when what does the pilot say when he hits the intercom? Well, guys, we've got I don't know how to say this, but a little gray man, I guess. He won't leave me alone. So we're going to have to make a slight detour here and come in early to Valencia.
We're going to be halting the drink and food service very shortly, as there seems to be an extraterrestrial being just off the left side of the plane here. He has a ray gun pointed to the head of the co-pilot, and it's saying that if we don't land soon, he's going to send us to a dimension full of demons.
And, I know a lot of you are trying to go on holiday today, so we don't want any demons to interfere with our holiday plans. He is flipping me off through the cockpit of his craft. I think he means business.
Thanks for flying Delta.
Yeah, totally. As soon as he tells people what happened, everyone's going to look out the window and be like, what lights? And he's like, you got to trust me. They were really close a minute ago.
Super close.
But they're gone now. Oh, yeah, they've disappeared completely.
And this was long enough ago that planes presumably didn't have like cameras on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've been on planes now where on the little screen, you can pick like, look out the nose.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, GoPro mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Yeah, you would be able to see a lot more these days.
This is why I believe strongly that if you are a professional paranormal investigator, you have the credentials, you should be able to bring weapons on airplanes.
What kind of weapons? Let's just clarify.
Knives, guns.
Okay, all of them then. Yeah. not like
whatever it takes.
No, not like a weapon against the paranormal, like garlic or holy water, but just a gun
to take control of the plane. Essentially, yeah.
The pilot should be on your side. Rory is on a flight to New York City, and we're going to the Vatican. I want to see what the Pope's got down there.
Look, airplanes already have air marshals to deal with threats in the air.
Well, American ones do.
We need to have space marshals.
Right.
To deal with intergalactic threats on airplanes. And that should be paranormal investigators.
In Elon Musk's America, we're probably almost there.
Right? Oh, air marshals can deal with terrorists on board planes. What about a guy called Xander from Gargon 4? What if he turns up? What are you going to do, air marshal? Try and put him in a chokehold? Motherfucker doesn't have a neck.
Yeah.
He's made of gas.
Do air marshals, I need to know a little more about that profession. Because you're not allowed a gun.
Are you not?
Like a army person.
Are you not? I think they are.
You can't fire a gun on a spacecraft, a plane, surely.
I think you can. I think maybe pop culture would lead us to believe that firing a gun creates a vacuum where everyone's sucked out.
It would suck someone out of it like the Nutty Professor. It would just be like, whoa, squeezed through. Okay, maybe
it's a good
not.
Point. Maybe it's a taser or something.
Taser's a good shout. Because I was going to say, I imagine this person is like John Wick, hand-to-hand combat trained.
Right.
Also, rough gig. If you're on like a London to Sydney, Australia flight, really long flight, presumably you're not allowed to watch the in-flight entertainment.
Yeah, you can't have any drinks. Yeah. You can't have any little tiny beers or wines.
Yeah, like imagine like shit starts kicking off. A terrorist is on the flight trying to get the pilot. You're the air marshal. You're in the middle of Mad Max Furiosa. You're just like, it's getting good though.
It was really.
Can we? And the pause button isn't working. Let me just see what it plays out. I think the pilot's got this, to be honest.
I've been waiting for the bathroom to free up for like 10 minutes, and I know that they're taking control of the plane, but I'm just going to pee real quick here. I actually think the air marshal system should be similar to, when you get put in an emergency exit.
Right.
And they're like, hey, just want you to let you know you're in the emergency exit. Do you feel comfortable in the case of an emergency to be able to help people and open the doors and everything? Yeah. And you have to agree to it. I think they should sit down and randomly pick someone and be like, hey, you're the air marshal for this flight. If anything goes down, you got to stop them. Are you comfortable with that? And you have to like, you know, it's randomly assigned. Someone has to be the defender.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to know who the air marshal is. So here's here I'm going to pretend that I'm giving you your backpack here from the overhead locker. There's nunchucks in it. Okay, there's nunchucks and there's just a bat, a nightstick. That's what you got. All right, that's what you got to deal with.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, bye. Can I just say, I've been meaning to tell someone this story. It's really quick. I was in an airport recently. I was in the toilet. I think it was Stansted Airport. Went to the toilets. You know, sometimes you'll see a rare sighting of like a pilot in the air. You know, he's got his outfit.
Yeah, it's like spotting a celebrity.
Yeah, they'll have the little outfit. They got their little luggage with them. He was in the toilets. He was splashing water on his face in the toilets.
Oh,
I wanted to just take bro aside, just be like, hey man,
where you headed?
what's your flight number today? Because I just want to double check it's not the flight that I'm on. Because
right,
yeah, were you out last night? Like, what, you good, bro?
Yeah, that's what you don't want to see a pilot drinking beers, splashing water on his face, or chatting to his wife on the phone, currently going through a divorce. Those are the big three.
Yeah, you don't want to hear him lose it all in the divorce right before the flight. Yeah, I know. Like that's what I was thinking. Like after someone splashing his, imagine he was splashing water in his face, just like looking in the mirror, being like, "You got this. You got this."
Drinking a 5-hour energy. No.
Drinking Diorolite. Like, nah. Hell no. Well, look, Rory, you mentioned how frustrated would you be if you're the pilot, you land, and the lights are completely gone. No one believes you anymore. Well, Francisco might not have had to worry about that. Once the passengers had been updated on the ground and began to filter into the airport, presumably frustrated, Captain Francisco talked to the ground staff on the tarmac.
In all my years, I've never seen anything like that. Thanks be to God that I got her down safely.
And you're sure it just wasn't another plane? A scheduling mix-up? Something military?
We tried the military radar site in Madrid. Nobody knew of anything. You know, there's a lot of UFO stories out there right now. I never believed in all that, but...
Oh my God, look! Just then, a host of witnesses on the ground saw the strange red lights reappear in the sky right above the airport.
Oh!
One of the lights passed above the runway, and staff even switched on the landing strip emergency lights, just in case the lights happened to be a plane experiencing a malfunction. But it wasn't just the ground staff. I guess since they called it into Madrid, it also caught the attention of military at the nearby Air Force base. And in minutes, an F-1 Mirage jet was scrambled, and the Spanish Air Force captain Fernando Camara was in hot pursuit of attempting to identify the objects.
Holy shit, we were talking battle stations!
Hopefully, Fernando Camara had packed his camera.
Let's hope.
Initially, he couldn't get close. He eventually had to speed up his jet to Mach 1.4 just to catch up with the object. This UFO was traveling at more than the speed of sound.
Oh my God.
But finally, he managed to get close enough to get a visual. It wasn't just a red light. To the ground staff, he described, quote, "It was a truncated cone shape, displaying a changing bright color." Now, despite these significant speeds, once he had his visual, he couldn't get any closer. The craft appeared to maintain its distance. Eventually, the craft disappeared from sight, and Camara had to change course. He had been alerted that something appeared on the radar back in the direction of Valencia, so he flew back to intercept that.
Is this guy not packing missiles?
I think he is.
Right, but maybe doesn't have the approval.
I don't know if we're quite at clearance to escalate to something dangerous at this point.
Fair enough.
I don't know what the terms of engagement are with this kind of thing. Maybe it would have to display some kind of threat, or maybe you would have to, I feel like in the movies, you like communicate your like, you know, unknown object over Valencia airspace. You know, this is fighter F-1 Mirage, you know, fighter Mr. Camera.
Right.
It's like, you are in restricted airspace. You have 30 seconds to leave. Otherwise, we will engage in deadly force.
Yeah, but you're like, permission to engage. To engage. No, restricted. Yeah, you know, it's not working out for you.
Who knows?
That's why you got to engage first. What do they say?
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Right, the other way of saying it, yeah.
So just you don't even have to talk to the tower. Just engage and then be like, hey, tower. Oh shit. Was I not supposed to engage? I engaged like 5 minutes ago.
Sorry, I had like 1 bar of signal. I was asking you to engage, but I think it was like the signal was choppy. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
I left you a voicemail asking to engage.
Yeah. So, yeah, sorry about that. It was a passenger helicopter, unfortunately.
Rory, in a second, you might hear a little bit more about Camera might not have been able to do that, even if he wanted to.
Damn. All I'm going to say is, over here, the guy who's had 14 ex-wives, he didn't wait for permission to engage. Probably should have.
Cha-ching! He wasn't calling up the father of the bride to ask for permission.
Permission to engage.
He just got down on one knee and just let it spray. Now, as Camera flew back to Valencia, this time he knew what he was doing, and he sped up to get close to this craft. Only this time, the UFO seemed to respond. Suddenly, the F-1 fighter jet had its avionics scrambled. Its electronic flight systems were jammed, and even worse, the onboard alert system in the F-1 warned Captain Camera as if he was being locked on by a continuous wave missile radar.
Whoa.
But if it was capable of firing on Camera, it didn't. The UFO finally disappeared, heading for Africa. After an hour and a half of pursuit, and due to fuel shortage, the pilot was forced to return to the base at 2:07 a.m. I feel like Captain Camera himself, exhausted by this very detailed and long account. Rory, have we covered anything like this on the podcast before?
We've heard a lot about UFOs having interactions with, as we said, not passenger planes, but military jets.
I guess that's it. Jets have the kind of speed and maneuverability to engage.
Yeah, and kind of keep up with these things. It really does highlight the reasons why I should never be allowed to pilot a military craft. Because I think we said it on the podcast before, I would have pushed that eject button so much earlier in this story.
Yeah.
If I was even still on the runway and they were like, hey, sorry, we just checked the supply closet and we're actually out of those tiny little bags of peanuts for the straight up in the air, gone. So this guy is being locked on by intergalactic missiles and he's continuing to chase after this object. This guy's badass. You know what? This guy is so cool. We might actually have to, right now in the podcast, play our royalty-free version of Highway to the Danger Zone.
Oh, God. Can we not?
Popularized by Top Gun. But of course, we play our royalty-free version, which is Motorway to the Risky Area.
Okay.
Let's go.
Foot on the gas, jets ripping through the sky. Just a couple hot dudes trying something new tonight. Motorway to the risky area. Right into the risky area.
All right, thanks for that. Don't know what that brought to this case set in Spain, but that's fine.
If any cool pilot ever flies a jet, it's Top Gun. You have to acknowledge it.
Fair play, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. And arguably set in Spain.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine the cast of Top Gun, sexy as they are, but with
long
black flowing hair, thick black beard, beautiful sun-kissed skin.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Okay, check, please. I just wanted to quickly ask, what about that shape of the UFO? A truncated cone with a changing color light.
I don't know what the word truncated means.
Good point. So truncated, I'm not going to fact check it.
Like an elephant?
I think it's
They're
like
truncanated.
I think big trunk energy. I think truncated is like, to me, means shortened. People are probably screaming at their iPods right now that that's not what it means, but to me it means shortened. So to me that would mean what would start off as a cone, but then is maybe cut off. It's truncated.
Ah, okay.
So it maybe, it's almost a cone. You know, I did take a quick look. If I like that, I will say, because it sounds slightly unique, maybe. Something we haven't heard a ton of. We've heard of tic-tac UFOs, cylindrical UFOs, disc-shaped UFOs, many things like that, but less cones. You know, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to just highlight that it seems rare. I haven't seen a lot to do with it. I found one case from, what's this? Staunton, Virginia. in USA in 1964.
Staunton.
Yeah, a little earlier, 1964, a little earlier than when this took place, but that was a diagram of what looks like a cone shape. Though, can't say that's truncated necessarily.
Oh, God. I don't like the look of this at all. Wait, so this is just a different case?
Yeah, completely different. But just to illustrate that there isn't many cone UFOs out there, I don't think.
That's true. I regret that I can't think of any more visual kind of comparisons than this, but it does kind of look like before you've kind of unraveled a condom.
It does. Yeah, that's good. I was going to say walnut whip. I love
nicer.
a walnut whip, and that looks a lot like one. Without the walnut, of course. I presume they don't have walnuts on other planets.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We simply don't know. But that is kind of the look of the thing. Yeah, very strange.
Notice that's 125 feet in diameter, 80 feet high, by the way.
Why aren't we investigating this thing?
Seems pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
Now, after such an incredible series of encounters, you would anticipate a media storm on the ground. But in fact, the Manises incident, if you'll pardon the pun, flew under the radar. Because for years, many of the details, including Camara's account, were a highly guarded secret, and only came to light when these files were declassified by the government to the public in 1994.
Wow. Okay. Was this a Freedom of Information Act thing, or how did these get broken?
Yeah, they're equivalent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been considered sensitive, I guess, probably because the military stepped in. But once it was declassified, officials explained away the incident, saying lights and gas flares from a distant oil refinery were what was seen from the planes. By sheer coincidence, the staff at Manises Airport had just seen a particularly bright star in the night sky.
Oh, come on.
They also argued that Camara's radio had been scrambled by an American warship that was stationed in the waters nearby.
Oh, okay. Well, that actually, I could imagine something like that happening. Because presumably this fighter jet being dispatched was like an unexpected emergency thing. That if there was an American ship that now just sees a fighter jet approaching it, Mach 1, they're going to scramble the shit out of it. They're going to lock onto it. They're going to do a lot of stuff.
It's true, but I just want to pump the brakes on it. It's 1979. It's not 2025 in terms of our technological capabilities. And remember, he was only mere meters away from the orb at this point. So,
True,
you know, was it the warship like 50 miles away in the sea? Or was it the orb he was chasing at Mach 1.4? It's genuinely hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Needless to say, Rory, you maybe don't think their explanation explains everything.
Not this. I don't like the star. Don't patronize me.
Don't
I hate that.
Don't look. Yeah, that's all the time we're going to spend on that explanation. Because look, the lights moved, they intensified, they followed the plane. And remember, Camara described it as a cone. In the military report, this was not a star. Well, according to the government, as we'll discover, Rory, Spain must be simply lousy with oil refineries and stars and battleships because this is far from the only UFO sighting in this area. We're going to talk about some more, some that might help us better understand the Manises UFO, right after a couple of words from today's sponsors.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we're back. Rory, the Manises incident might be the most famous UFO case in Spanish history, but it's far from the only case. In 1965, an utterly insane tale emerged from a military site in Badajoz. I don't know how to say that. Badajoz. Badajoz.
That sounds like a German man saying that something is badass. It's like, oh, that's Badajoz.
Badajoz. You've heard of Bauhaus? This is Badajoz.
That pork knuckle was Badajoz.
Yes, I went to see Travis Scott last night, which was Badajoz. Badajoz is just in southwestern Spain, for what it's worth. Now, at dawn here, on the 12th of November, 1965, two soldiers, Jose Maria Trejo and Juan Carrizosa, were on duty at the Talavera La Real Air Base when they heard a strange sound. The sound started as a kind of radio interference, then morphing into a high-pitched whistle. The soldiers wondered if the sound was being made by someone who had made an unauthorized entry into the military area. But in 5 minutes, it stopped. The two men looked at each other and prepared their submachine guns just in case. That's when the sound started again. This time, so loud they said they thought their heads were about to explode.
Oh my God.
It lasted another full 5 minutes. Before then, a flash of light shot from nearby into the sky. They said it was like a flare, beaming up for about 15 or 20 seconds. They were now very worried the base had been compromised, so they went to a sentry box and noted Pavon, the guard corporal. He ordered them to carry out a visual inspection of the area. So they traced the sound and light to a nearby area of eucalyptus trees. So with their weapons loaded and a guard dog by their side, they approached the scene.
Don't bring the dog into this.
It's mad, isn't it?
They can already hear shit we can't hear.
Yeah.
Don't bring them near the orb making a noise so loud it feels like it's gonna pop a human head.
Yeah, we need like some little earmuffs or something.
Yeah, that poor dog.
After about 300 meters, they heard some eucalyptus branches break and felt a strange sensation in the air. The dog shot off into the trees towards where they heard the sounds. They were expecting some barking or activity, but it was silent.
Oh, you're gonna make me sad.
Then, a few moments later, the dog walked back out of the woods, but the men said it looked sick.
Oh.
It was staggering, clearly dizzy, wobbling around, and it wouldn't move again from the men. But that's when something else came out of the clearing. Jose Maria Trejo spotted a human-like figure emerging. The being was 3 meters tall and emitted an intense green light from a series of points around its body. It appeared to be wearing a helmet of some sort and had huge handless arms held in a cross position. Trejo,
Handless arms?
I guess like whatever
Like
shape
two
it
pool
was.
noodles?
Whatever shape it was, like a wacky waving inflatable man. Whatever shape it was, I guess it looked like arms, but they
Right.
didn't have hands. Trejo immediately fainted in shock.
Understandably.
But Carrizosa opened fire
Hell yeah.
on the creature, and in seconds another soldier appeared and fired too. They fired up to 50 rounds at the creature, but it escaped into the trees seemingly unharmed, and a search party found nothing. By the morning, they couldn't even find an empty shell casing.
But they could. What? That bit's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like it had been.
Like a dream or a hallucination or something.
Yeah, it was like it didn't happen. But
Don't say that. Don't say that.
No, I
No,
don't want
no,
to say
no,
that.
don't say that.
But it was like it had been scrubbed.
Right.
Which we do. It is a frustrating thing quite often.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a real thing to do with UFO cases, but that is frustratingly quite often what happens. You'll hear a mental story that a lot of people swear by. Like even my favorite, the Zimbabwe school UFO. They'll be like, all these witnesses swear down this thing happened, and then they go to the site and there's not really anything there.
Yeah, which could be one of two things. Either it was paranormal and that's why it's been swept and covered up.
Yeah.
Or nothing happened and that's why there's nothing there. Because
Yeah.
nothing happened. It could go kind of either way.
Mr. Ockham and his razor are like screaming like, yes, it's the latter, guys. But a few days later from these events, when he finally woke up and entered the base's mess hall, he immediately went blind and fell unconscious to the ground. He started having health problems. He was hospitalized on November 30th at the Madrid Air Force Hospital, but was just diagnosed with a nervous imbalance, and he did manage to recover. So it seemed like maybe panic attacks or something like that.
Right.
PTSD as a result of his encounter.
Something traumatic has affected him.
I mean, in terms of the sources of this information, allegedly the Air Force has confirmed that there was an incident on site where live ammunition was used on this day. They don't confirm or deny anything else that was seen. But what happened to the bullets that flew out? And if guns were fired, why?
I want to know more about this little dude.
Yeah.
What's his deal? Where'd he come from?
Let me I haven't printed it out actually, but there is like some artist interpretations of it. Let me try and show you.
Because I didn't know at the start when they said, the creature didn't have hands. I didn't know if that was like a description of his body or a description of his inability to fight. Like this guy didn't have hands.
Yeah, he had no chin. We knocked him out immediately. Yeah, I don't know where this appeared at the time, but this was an artist's interpretation around the time of the incident.
All right, we have a drawing here. Oh, God. All right, this isn't at all what I thought it would look like.
Well, he was 3 meters tall, which is, to be clear, about half as tall again as the average person.
My guy is thick with 3 C's.
There was in more than one report, I think. So you can actually, if you're curious about this case, there is video of the men, the soldiers. They are on video testifying about what happened. And I think they do describe the thing as fat.
Yeah, he's a husky.
Yeah.
He's a husky little guy. He's got that intergalactic dad bod.
Which is, hey, great to see. You know, we have plus size modeling in the world today here
Hell
on
yeah.
Earth. And it's good to see representation in space too. Because for too long, aliens have had unrealistic body standards. You know,
9 foot tall?
yeah, 9 foot tall and probably weigh about 20 kilograms. Yeah, okay. We can all achieve that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, what is the waist of these aliens? Well, I don't know. What's the waist of a praying mantis?
Yeah, 4 inches, 4-inch waist.
Tiny.
Come on now.
This guy didn't actually have a waist. He was just a floating torso with a head.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic.
You know, so when the aliens start wearing skinny jeans, how are we supposed to follow that trend? I can't wear jeans that skinny.
This is what we like to see is being a planet that welcomes aliens, all sizes, all backgrounds.
Yeah.
This is great. Because all of a sudden, you know, if we only talk about the aliens that are 10 foot tall, skinny little beautiful bug people or the Nordic Greys or any of that shit, the poor little 3 foot husky ones aren't going to want to visit.
Yeah, we're not made it inviting for them.
Exactly, because as soon as we start taking like blurry pictures of them, they're going to be like, please don't post those.
Yeah.
Don't post those. Oh my God, I have a double chin. It's a terrible angle. But hey, we want to let you guys know we love all the aliens.
Imagine, you're a UFO researcher and you finally get some up close photos of alien greys landing on Earth, and they're like, "Let me see it before you post it. Let me see it real quick." Next one. Did you get a live photo? Because there might be another frame we could select from that live photo.
I'm going to just throw this really quickly into an app that I can use to kind of airbrush a little bit and then put on a tiny bit of a
Korean
filter.
app that does like a beautify, so let's use that.
You'd be devastated if you were an alien that landed here on Earth thinking that you were going to be like the one that made the news, that made all the headlines, that we finally found out they're out there. And it's like the Guardian newspaper running an article being like, aliens are here and they're ugly. They're like, look at this little thing.
Look at this
my
Danny
God.
DeVito looking ass.
Feels so bad.
The aliens are like, I'm actually a 10 on my planet. I'm like, all right, you would say that. So look, stories like this have become more accessible in Spain since a number of declassified UFO papers from the government. Unfortunately, neither me nor you speak Spanish fluently or reads it, so I'm pretty limited in what I can gather from it. I've tried to find out stuff that people have translated into English, but I did find one very interesting image from those declassified documents. I'm not saying this is a perfect one-to-one to the cases we're discussing today, but this is an illustration of a UFO from a sighting in Spain from a kind of very, very roughly similar time period as our original Manises UFO sighting.
Do we have a year for it?
It'll have come from the previous 20 or 30 years, which would place it in the 1979 of the Manises. Take a look at this. I mean, just off rip, this is what you want when you click on some government declassified files.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh man, this is perfect.
Satisfying.
We're talking about gridded paper, blueprints of what I assume is a UFO, but does look like a wheel of cheese with kind of labels all around it. Figure 3.
It is Spain, after all.
1.
It's the land of cheeses and cured meats.
This is insane. I mean, I will say, I don't think whatever this thing is, doesn't necessarily visually link to the crafts we've talked about before. It doesn't look like a condom.
Well, it doesn't not look like a condom. I mean, that's why...
Condoms come in many shapes and sizes.
That's why... That's the ones I use anyway.
I have a factory that special makes
them at a 90-degree angle. Look, you have to use a little bit of imagination, but, I like to, as a thought experiment, is this what camera meant by a truncated cone? Okay, it's not so much a cone as a dome, but it is then truncated. It's like a dome. It's not quite a semicircle. It's like a dome with the other side is flat. So, You know, if that thing's flying at Mach 1.4, could you say it was a truncated cone? Just maybe. Just maybe.
Maybe. It was, 2 a.m. as well, so they're flying in the dark
Yep.
at Mach speed.
It's 1979, so he was probably drunk.
Yeah, and needed glasses but didn't wear glasses.
Sure, things like that.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff. But hey, you know, I want to keep us focused today. It's 2025. I'm trying to keep us focused in the year of Luigi, not Mangione.
The year of action.
The year of action. That's what I meant to say. Trying to keep us focused. I think it's been really fun to talk about Spain, a place that is not dripping in famous UFO cases, but does, when you start to peel the layers back, have clearly some wild stories. I mean, I was really thrown for a loop by that Badajoz military base sighting. Very creepy. The sick dog.
Yeah.
The firing on the thing. Clearly, they saw something.
What happened to the dog? I'm going to need an update on the dog because I'm worried about him.
I feel like they would have said the dog died if the dog died. I feel like the dog's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was worried we might be looking at the Thing situation.
Okay.
Where it's like the dog's fine, but he now does levitate. And his eyes are an obsidian black.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Maybe that'll be in the Freedom of Information in the next 10 years. The dog is now hooked up to wires underground Madrid. I think let's keep this focused on Manises. I think Manises is very famous within Spain and also just in the UFO community. It's known as a very storied case. It's seen by many, many witnesses. It's recorded well.
Yeah.
It was in government declassified files. Good, reliable testimony from military, passenger, civilian aircraft workers, and so on. And with a cool description of what the craft looked like. But as always, at the end of an episode of This Paranormal Life, we have to decide what we think about it, whether we think it's real. Where's your head at?
Let's tally up who saw this thing. All right, we got a pilot and co-pilot.
Yep, two pilots.
People on the ground in the airport said they saw
the lights.
They saw lights.
Yeah.
You're going to see lights in an airport. I don't know if I can count that one, especially if you're looking up at the sky.
Yep.
That's where all the planes live.
Sure.
In the airport.
They got it on radar on the plane.
They did have it on radar.
Yep.
And then it was also seen, crucially, by
Camara.
who was chasing it at Mach speeds in a fighter jet, who said it looked like a cone.
That's right.
So I would say pilots. They're our most reliable witnesses today.
We got three separate pilots, three unaffiliated pirates. Yeah.
Pirates?
Pilots.
All right. Looking at logical
Well,
explanations.
with the price of plane tickets these days, I call them pirates, all right, yeah.
Looking at logical explanations, the only real one is that this was just something from another country. Mm-hmm. A drone, a plane, some kind of craft. It's a long time ago.
1979, though.
That isn't that long ago. That isn't that long. Like, there was a lot of... We had drones and shit in 1970. That's like 1980.
I don't know if that's true.
We for sure did. We had like fighter jets in the Second World War.
No, we didn't.
We had jets that were fighting.
Yeah, we had planes that were fighting. That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
No, I know what you're saying.
You know,
it's borderline. I agree. 80s feels drony. 70s doesn't feel very drony, but we are on a borderline year here.
We're on 80s, so it could be some kind of experimental stuff going on. Weird place for, I guess, I don't know the geography of this location, but weird place for other countries to be flying experimental shit.
But I mean, yes, you're right. The fact that an F1 jet is following the thing indicates that we'd broken the sound barrier at that point. But also the F1 feels like pretty bleeding edge for 1979.
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, fighter jets did exist at this point because it's the thing's being chased by a fighter jet.
I was disagreeing with us having fighter jets in World War II, to be clear, which was 1945.
That's true. I actually don't even know what the difference is between a fighter jet and just a plane with a bomb strapped to it.
But doesn't the exception prove the rule here? The fact that it was a guy in an F1, the most advanced shit we had, being like, what the is that?
Right, being chased by, I mean, okay. I don't know. We also did say, like, as part of the excuse, there was literally an American warship, like 50 meters off. Not saying it was the Americans flying some weird shit out there, but that is also a possible explanation.
Yeah, look,
I don't know.
I'll put you out of your misery here a little. You know, I think I can say we all know Kit has a soft spot for this type of story because I think the context of these stories has expanded massively. Like, imagine we were looking into a Bigfoot story from 1979, and the context is we've had nothing but Bigfoot sightings since 2017 onwards. It would be like, all right, well, things are looking a certain way lately, but that's what we have with UFOs.
Yeah.
Like, part of why the story is interesting is because it now sounds so much like many other sightings we've seen. I mean, we now, like, we're talking about the truncated cone. We have videos of the cone these days from the military. The famous Tic Tac or others. We have videos of these crafts being captured on radar by pilots just like this. So that's really exciting to think that it goes back much further. Seems believable. But, like I said, I want to stay focused in 2025. I'm not trying to get carried away.
Sure.
Let's keep it to 1979. Like, I think that's fascinating and entirely possible that it's connected to the sightings of today. But do I think that we have enough to go on here to say that this was definitely aliens? Maybe not, because there was a reason I had to, after the ad break, go and talk about utterly different stories.
Go and talk about the chunky boy that came down.
Which I love that story too, I really do. But both of those stories almost don't have quite enough evidence to them.
Yeah, I think that's it. I actually didn't know how I was going to come down today. This really does feel like a case I could give a yes to.
Yeah, it does.
But I don't know why. It definitely feels like we're missing one little bit that would push it over the line for me today. I think there's enough here that this could just be something entering airspace that isn't supposed to be there. That doesn't necessarily mean it's paranormal.
The UFO world is littered with pilots following lights into the sky, sometimes to their death, in fact.
Yeah.
We've seen that in other cases. It's really hard to know what's going on. Really interesting, but hard to know. I'll take the lead. I'm going to give it a no today, Rory.
I'm going to give it a no as well, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I think we're being real honest with ourselves. That could have gone either way.
Who are Kit and Rory in 2025?
What?
Saying no to aliens, saying yes to the Mantis Man?
Crazy. I mean, I think the audience will say that we're all over the place, is what we are. But that's fine. That's cool. We're trying to remain an open mind. I think we're doing well.
We are. Never let them know your next move.
We're going to give a yes to the crumple snatcher of Pimple Stilton Town next week. And
I also want more cases with chubby aliens and weird aliens and ones made of goo with 9 eyes.
Yeah.
I want to see the little weird guys.
Yeah.
I want to have them represented on the podcast.
I'm not saying that the normal alien greys are like sexy and good looking, but like, there's a body standard there that's being upheld. So let's smash that ridiculous body standard. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think about it, of course.
All aliens are beautiful. Hashtag all aliens are beautiful.
Sure.
That'll be our message for the month.
Some of them aren't. We've seen images of terrifying creatures.
The Mantis Man.
Beautifully terrifying, I guess. But
yeah,
the Mantis Man. Are you kidding me? I don't know about all that. I don't know. As I say, I hope you have enjoyed this investigation. If you live in Spain, feel free to dig through the declassified documents. If you can give us any top tips, please let me know. No pressure or anything. We'll get it figured out eventually. But seems like there's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah. Honestly, Kate, I just think you and I might have to go and investigate this one ourselves in person.
You think?
Yeah. Visit Espanol.
Valencia?
Yeah, a couple cervezas.
Yeah. We were just yesterday looking through some photos of my stag do in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And going, man, that was a good time.
It really was.
Yeah.
Oh,
sun shining, skateboards in hand, ice cold cervezas.
So let's do it again. Let's get some drinks. Yeah, some paranormal hunting equipment. And then, if we have some free time, we'll go down to El Casino.
Oh, God.
That's right, because I've got a good feeling about 42 black.
Ugh.
And I know that the guy said that's not a number that exists on the roulette board, but I'm going to put my money on it anyway.
Because that's how much I believe in the paranormal. I think this is a paranormal board.
I bet on 69 white. And he said, you have to leave the casino. That's not a real number.
I'm going to place a bet on this tall white getting 69 before the night's out. Get out. Get the out of here. I don't even know if gambling's legal there. We'll find out.
I guess we will.
We will. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Patreon.com is a place. You guys know the score. That is where you can get untold fortunes. You don't have to win the lottery. You don't have to win a blackjack table. You can win the lottery of TPL by simply placing a $5 bet on Kit and Rory.
Bing!
You will we'll just hand it all over. We'll hand over every bonus episode of This Paranormal Life all at once, all the ad-free episodes, all the special content over on Patreon. The link's in the description of this pod on YouTube or where you're listening.
Yeah, we're looking for kings, queens, and maybe a couple of jokers.
We've got a couple of those already, I think. It's just kings and queens at this point.
I know. I was trying to do like a card thing, like a thing.
What about the...
So as long as you're over 21, head on over to the Patreon.
That's cool.
Yeah. Hit me.
We're not getting paid as much as Jake Paul to do all the like gambling ads. So like, you know, we really, for me to talk about gambling, I need to be getting that Kevin Hart money.
I think we actually vetoed gambling ads on the podcast. Yeah. Because we obviously we're respectable hosts.
Because the network we're on, they're like, do you want to veto anything? We're like, why would we need to do that? They're like, you know, the military places ads on podcasts. We're like, okay, well, probably that.
Yeah.
And just in case, what military? They're like, we can't say.
We can't disclose that
North
information.
Korea, mostly. And gambling.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all we've vetoed.
Time to lift the ban, brothers!
Wow. Something to think about.
Please gamble responsibly.
Patreon.com is the place to go. At the end of every episode, we give a couple of shout outs to people on Patreon.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So a special thank you to Jonathan Price.
Jonathan, what is the price of sitting down at your table? Is it $10 minute?
$100,000 minimum.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
It's quite big.
That is a lot.
Big baller.
But if
Big
I
ballers
won,
only.
think of the Subway sandwiches I'd be walking away with. $100K of meatball marinaras.
You could afford to not eat Subway ever again.
Well, I like Subway.
Okay.
So if the price is right, I'm sitting down at that table.
Subway, bring back the vegan meatball marinara.
They got rid of it?
Yeah, they did. I don't know why. And it became like a McDonald's ice cream situation where you would go and they'd be like, let me check out back. Nope, we're out.
Oh.
And then it eventually just it seems to be gone. So I don't know. Maybe that's still in the States. Maybe I need to go and get it. But
maybe.
That was a glorious time for vegans. Okay. Thanks also to Caleb. Caleb, I call him Sea Dog. Not because that's like a cool nickname, but because he is the saltiest sea dog you've ever met in your life.
Oh, so C for some reason, S-E-A?
Yeah.
Even though his name is Caleb with a
That's
C?
That's right, yeah. Okay. Sea dog. And then it happens to match with his lifestyle of being a utter sea dog.
What does that mean? What is he, a sailor or a...
His hair is so stiff with sea salt.
Okay,
it's
so
like
nothing to do with the
salt.
ocean. So nothing.
No, he's like a sailor. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
he is a sailor.
Yeah, he's
okay.
a salty sea dog. That's always a sailor, right?
All right, yeah. Well, I just don't understand the name.
Peg leg.
It's okay, so he's a pirate at this point.
Think of a picture of salty sea dog. Well, that's Caleb.
Okay.
You know, Caleb.
I don't know how to make this any clearer. Hey, good to have a pirate on the Patreon throwing back that booty.
Wow.
Money, I'm talking about. Cash.
Yeah, because that was disturbing. I don't think Caleb could bend over like that, to be honest.
He's so stiff from the sea spray.
Thanks also to Pete.
Oh, you know Pete's a pirate.
Yeah, P-Dog.
We call him Sea Dog. Yeah, you can't have a name like Pete and not be called Petey the Pirate or Peter the Pirate, Pirate Pete. It just goes too well. But as I said, we are always excited to have more pirates supporting the commune. You know, because what you guys usually have in the history books is weapons and money and modes of transport that are pretty fast.
Pete, I will say, is less pirate ship and more the pirate bay. It's more like if you need like a 4K copy of an illegal movie, you know, hit him up.
Okay.
If you need like a discography illegally downloaded, again, illegal.
Right, as long as you're not you didn't join the Patreon so that you could download all the episodes and put them on the Pirate Bay.
Think about that.
Please don't do that, Pete.
Hold on.
Please don't. We need this.
Thanks lastly today to Jamie Lavich.
Jamie, how would you like to live a lavish life? I can make your sorry, I had a few martinis before we did this because
Really?
I, of course, am James Bond.
They've only kicked in, I think.
How would you like to live a lavish life?
Monday penny.
You can make your dreams a reality by just giving me a couple of G's. Kit and I are
A couple G's?
Yeah, you and I are going to the casino.
So much money.
We're going to the casino in Madrid, and if casinos are illegal, we'll do a little backdoor action.
Okay.
Not talking about the booty again.
Yeah.
but we're gonna find a little place where we can throw some G's down and make some cash. And then, you know, if we do, if we do make some money, you know, we'll maybe.
It's worrying that, like,
give it to him.
I don't know where your plans are going so badly that when you said if the casino's closed, we'll do some backdoor action, I was worried for a second. I was legit worried.
Backdoor gambling.
Okay.
Backdoor. You know the
You mean
secret
back
stuff.
alley?
Back alley.
Not
That's what I mean.
backdoor. What the?
That's what I mean.
Also, what is lavish about that? What would be lavish about that?
The
Nothing.
money I make for him.
Okay.
I make the money and he gets a cut. That's how it works, Money Penny.
Okay, we're done. I think Rory's got a problem. Clearly.
Clearly not.
All right.
I got a problem. That problem is I'm not in a casino right now. That's my problem.
Thank you for
Is
listening.
that my hands are empty. There should be 2 martinis in them.
How could you gamble then? Thanks for listening.
I push the chips with my nose, Money Penny.
I've got a watch for that. Okay. Thanks for listening to This Paranormal Life. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back. Rory might still be at the casino next
Might
Tuesday.
be.
Hopefully, we'll both be here for
I'm
another.
starving. I need a Subway sandwich.
Paranormal
And I don't know how to
tale.
get one without gambling, so I need to go.
With money. Bye.
Bye-bye.